Today I'm talking about the psychology of accessibility. So, I want to start off by saying that psychology is a beautiful thing, and some of the concepts you can pay attention to, observe, and you can use them for good, you can use them for bad, or you can use them for awareness, self awareness. And so, this next concept that I'm going to talk about is an area that I've observed, I've studied and seen in people, but also um, now because I'm aware of it, I make sure that I am not, um, I want to say a victim of it, but I don't allow it to control and navigate my big decisions. So, this concept of, or the psychology behind accessibility is very simple, at least the part that I'm talking about. And that is that when you are overly accessible, people tend to equate that to you having a low value or low quality. Just like when something is lower priced and there's a lot of it, people tend to equate that to it being cheaper or not as valuable. However, if something is not as accessible and it's exclusive and you have to do a lot to see it, to receive it, to purchase it, people tend to equate that to it having a high value. A perfect example would be these luxury brands, quote unquote luxury brands, that have handbags that are coming straight from China. Just like, not to say that you can't find a quality handbag from China, but it's coming from China and it's coming from bulk vendors in China, and they're not real products. It's not like real leather. It's not like that quality that's going to be long lasting, right? So they're getting these products from these vendors, right? And they're selling it like it's a luxury bag and it's exclusive. That same exact bag can be sold in a store. Maybe not with their logo on it, but that same exact model with the same exact quality will be sold in a different store. And in the process of it being sold, people will go and they'll buy it, but they'll treat it like it's cheaper. No one's walking around holding it thinking, "Ooh, let me not leave my $10 bag anywhere." You're not feeling like it's that expensive. But if you were to go and buy the same exact bag from a luxury brand that has marketed themselves as a luxury brand that is exclusive, that does not give access to everyone, that you have to spend a lot of money or be at a certain status to enter or to shop with, they're going to be holding that bag for dear life. They're going to be trying to resell that bag. And the reality is that the quality of the bags are the same. This is a real life situation. We have a lot of designer brands where the quality does not equate to the price. But because the model has been created around exclusivity, people are treating it like it's so valuable. This is priceless, this priceless so and so bag. But then you go get the same bag from Walmart or, Target or wherever, if you shop at Target still. But, from wherever. And you aren't able to feel that same feeling of this is valuable. People don't look at it like, oh, that's a valuable bag. Because that brand is extremely accessible to a lot of people. And this concept of accessibility or over accessibility, it translates into relationships too. It translates into dating. When you are overly accessible to someone, they automatically assume that you're desperate. As silly as that is, they wouldn't just, that's just a perception of their own insecurity too sometimes, because they're thinking in their heads, why would she be so accessible to me? Maybe it's because she likes you. Maybe you're a cool person. Maybe y'all have a really great connection. Maybe she's a good, solid individual that you want to have in your corner and in your life, or he, whoever. But when someone's overly accessible, we equate that to their value. We think that that means they're low value, even though that's truly mm, really not always the case. They might not see their value. So in their mind, they feel like they're low value. Therefore, they operate from a lower place. But their value, they do have the value. And I'm saying that to say it because why else would you be in their face if you didn't see it? For some people, you know? But let's not get too distracted. I don't want to create a whole nother podcast. But back to that. Accessibility is also in friendships and in family, whereas you have a family member that you see all the time. And so, because you see them all the time, you don't really appreciate that time spent with them sometimes. Moments where you could turn off technology and sit down and watch a TV show together, moments where you could read a book, moments where you could go outside and just enjoy nature together. You instead walk past them scrolling through your phone, or, you know, spend time doing stuff that really doesn't matter, or don't do stuff together because you feel like you see them already or you see them enough. That's kind of what comes with that. But then think about that family member that you barely ever see. You see like once or twice a year. When you see them, you're all eyes and ears on them. Y'all are focused on each other, laughing, holding each other like it's been 20 years, even though it's only been 1 year, which still goes by fast. And that's because they're not as accessible to you. So you appreciate that time a little bit more. And that's not everyone, but that's a lot of people. Um, Same thing in business, same thing in sales. And I mean, we talked about that with the designer bags. So I say all this not for you to feel like you have to go and manipulate situations or people, but simply to state that maybe if because we're aware of this, we can practice being the exception to the rule. So when you're dealing with people in business, don't assume that because they're excited or accessible to you that that means that they're not valuable or their time isn't valuable. Treat them and speak to them like their time is valuable, because they may just be extremely passionate about you, about supporting you, about being a part of your mission, but their time is extremely valuable and they do have a lot of clients and a lot of things to take care of. So don't misconstrue the two. When it comes to friendship, don't assume that because that friend is excited about talking to you and they call you and y'all talk for a long time that that means that they're desperate for a friend. Maybe that's just someone who genuinely loves you and is in your circle because they care about you, they have your back, and they want to see you do well. Don't underestimate that. In relationships, just because a person is accessible, don't assume that that means that they don't that they're desperate and they think they can't find someone else, because they can in many cases. So instead of being that person that takes things for granted, I'm sorry, yeah, takes things for granted, but also takes advantage of things, be the person who says, because you are accessible to me, I will appreciate you more. Because you give me this time and this attention and this energy, I will put you in my first thought for prioritizations. You know, be that person. Fight, not, well, let me not say fight, but be aware of these principles so that when you start to see them taking place in real time, you can be the exception to the rule because you're already aware of what's happening around you. That's the message that I want to leave with people. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. Bye bye.